All right, what's good, what's great, and what's going on, everybody? Must not have heard me. I said, what's good?
What's great?
What's going on?
What's going
How's
on?
everybody doing today? Coming to you live, not from ALCHEMII Studios, but from Structural Systems, Inc. with another episode of the Garage Talks podcast. Not only am I joined by my amazing two normal co-hosts, being Jay, who's over to my right, and Omad, who's over to my left, but we have a very, very special guest in the building. Everybody give it up, give it up, give it up. Gang.
Yeah.
We got Mr. Joseph in the building. How you doing today, sir?
I am doing awesome, man.
Doing good.
Glad,
You looking
glad to
good,
be here.
man.
Glad to be here.
And most of all, that's the best thing about being here with Mr. Joseph. Probably not the best thing, but one of the greatest things is we got us a little sponsor from Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. I don't drink often, but when I'm just kidding.
I don't drink beer, but when I do, it's Sierra Nevada.
Nice.
Exactly. Or I go to Sierra Nevada. Yeah, we didn't. That's definitely not a copyright strike. But all right, man. Let's get it started off here. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Why are you here? What you doing here, man?
Man, how much time do we got?
Not enough.
Okay, so a little bit about myself. Joseph Gonzalez is the name. I'm a businessman and entrepreneur here in Palm Springs. Had the great pleasure of being associated here with ALCHEMII Studios, which is just an awesome group, awesome vibe, and happy to be a part of all this. So I'm 55 years old. Been raised here in Palm Springs, 54 out of the 55 years. Originally from Mexico. So actually, English is not my first language. Spanish was. I didn't even speak English when I came here. Granted, I was a kid, so it's like what a difference. But so basically an immigrant. Immigrant, as many people are here, and came here as a result of my father being a bracero who came here on a work visa from Mexico. My mom, I come from a family of 7, so kind of a traditional Mexican family, a lot of kids, no dogs, but a lot of kids. And anyhow, just so I've had the blessing of living, I guess, the American dream of being here, coming here, working hard, struggling, but making it where I'm at. Yeah, making it where I'm at, and just here to kind of convey that message that it's possible. Anything is possible.
That's super dope. That is super dope. What kind of got you started into the realm in which you are now? Like, what do you think were the major points in your life that kind of geared you onto this path that you're on now?
Well, actually, the catalyst for me getting into what I currently do, which is building and development, came by, I don't know, you want to call it. I don't want to call it fate, but maybe it was just accidental. My background is medicine. So I actually have a degree in biology, spent 14 years working in cardiothoracic. So I've had not just a stint, but a pretty long run with a medical background. Like anything else in life, life gives you shit. And I have had my share of it. As a result, I guess it was a solid divorce, a couple of kids that I adore. My kids are beautiful rock stars, just love them. But in my 30s, I got divorced, had 2 young children, and had to give up the dream of pursuing a medical career. Ended up not knowing what to do. Decided that I needed to find something I could do. I was good with my hands, so when I went to my father and asked him what it is that, what can I do, right? And I can no longer do medicine because I'm the kind of person that if you can't have something, or if I can't have something, I don't want any part of it. So long story short, I got hit with child support, alimony as a result of the divorce. I realized that going to school and pursuing my education, pursuing my medical career wasn't going to be something that was going to be plausible. Mm-hmm. So I just gave it up. I just threw the towel in and said, fuck it, I'm out of here. I'm just going to go find something else to do. But I didn't have a contingency plan, right? I didn't even know what the hell I was going to do. I just knew that I had to survive. And so I spoke to my dad. My dad said, hey, you're really good with your hands, because I was on a cardiothoracic surgery team. And I said, okay. And he says, well, what about carpentry? So I was like, carpentry? Well, what are you, crazy? I mean, I don't know anything about
Jesus.
fucking car.
Jesus,
No.
yeah,
Hey,
Jesus.
lay it out. No. So that's good because that's exactly what I thought. My name's Joseph, so I thought, okay,
That's
hey,
close.
Jesus' dad was Joseph, and Jesus was a carpenter. So, I actually said, you know what, I think I can do that. So I ended up going to. Well, let me give you a little bit of background here. So
Yeah, go ahead.
my mother was bless her heart, a housekeeper, a maid. She cleaned houses for a living. And there's a country club here in the valley called the Indian Wells Country Club. So when I was a kid, I used to go with my mom to these houses, multi-million-dollar homes, that she would clean, right? And I was like 5, 6 years old. Well, there was a security guard at Indian Wells Country Club that had been there, I don't know, 50 years. Guy had been there forever. And he knew me when I was a kid. So when I told my dad, I said, okay, well, if I'm going to get into construction, I got to find a job, right? I got to find somewhere where there's some work. So a friend of mine had said, hey, there's this big home being built at Indian Wells Country Club. Why don't you go there and look for work? So, okay, I'm ass broke. No money, no nothing, right? So I had to walk. This is 30 years ago. And I'm walking from where I lived off of Cook Street to Indian Wells, about a 5-mile walk. It's August.
Dang.
You know how humid it is in
It's-
August,
yeah,
right?
it's hot.
It's fucking hot, right? Okay. So I'm walking, 115-degree weather, no car. I'm broke. And I walk up to the security guard, and the guy recognizes me. And he's all, what are you doing here?
Oh, from cleaning the houses, right?
No, from being in the car with my mom who cleaned the houses,
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So I told him, I said, hey, listen, I need to get in here. And he goes, well, for what? And I said, there's a house being built, and I need to go find a job. So he's like, well, I can't let you in. And I said, well, come on, man. I go, you know me since I was a kid. And he saw, you know what? All right, I'm going to let you in just because I knew your mom. And he says, but if anybody catches you, you can't tell them I let you in. So I'm like, okay, man, cool. I'm good. So multi-million-dollar development. Probably no Mexicans living there. I'm sure of that, right? So this Mexican kid, right? I'm 55 now, so 30 years ago, 20-something, and I'm walking through this country club, looking for a home that's under construction, thinking for sure security's going to pop my ass and throw me out. Well, I managed to get to the job site. Big home, 50,000 square foot home, and there's a job trailer. So I walk up to the job trailer. I knock on there. Some lady answers, and she says, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Well, I certainly hope so." I said, "I'm looking for a job." And she's like, well, my husband isn't here. He's the contractor, but he'll be here momentarily. She goes, do you mind waiting? I said, no, you know what? I'll wait. So a few minutes pass by. I see a Land Rover pull up, right? And this kind of preppy looking dude gets out. And she says, hey, he's here to see you. And I said, hey, I go, I'm looking for a job. So the guy says, well, what do you know? What do you do? Or what do what do you dedicate yourself to? And I said, well, be honest. I said, I don't know anything about construction, but I'm willing to do whatever. So the guy tells me, well, we started talking. In the conversation, he says, well, you seem to be pretty articulate. You seem like you're educated. And he says, what did you used to do? And I said, well, you're going to laugh. I said, but I was on a cardiothoracic surgical team at Eisenhower Medical Center. And he says, what? He goes, no way. He says, I'm pre-med or was pre-med at UCLA. So right off the bat, I'm like, whoa, okay. So we hit like commonality, right? Mm-hmm. We're like feeling, So then he says, you know what? I'll tell you what. He goes, I'll give you a chance. He goes, I'm going to hire you as a laborer. It's not anything glamorous. You're going to be picking up trash, lumber, whatever. So I'm like, you know what? I'll take it. So I'm going to fast forward. I get the job. I start working. I'm picking up trash. The carpenters actually played a game on me where they said, I asked them, I said, what do you want me to do? And they said, you see that pile of lumber over there? I said, yeah. And they said, go clean it. Well, I come from medicine, so I'm thinking like, lavage, some type of wash. What do you mean fucking clean it? They're like, we want you to take the nails out of the stack of lumber. And I said, okay, well, what do I do after that? We want you to stack it. Where? Over here. Okay, so I go over there and I'm pulling nails out of these 2x4s and 6x6s. And I'm sitting there the whole time and I'm thinking, what the fuck am I doing? It's 110 degrees. I'm formally educated. I'm sitting here with a cat's claw pulling out nails. This is crazy. Well, I had to eat my ego, right? And I said, okay, this isn't going to be forever. I just got to do what they're asking me. So that's kind of where I started. That was the catalyst for me ending up in the industry. Now, granted, it's been, almost 30-year span, and I've been able to work up to where I'm at, but it hasn't always been that pretty or that successful. It was in the trenches doing what I was doing. So anyhow, that answers hopefully the question. Yeah.
That is a super great story, honestly. That is mad inspiration.
Wait, I was thinking, real quick. Like, so isn't that kind of weird how, like, the dude that you first started working for, he was doing med, and then he switched over to that, and then you were doing med and switched over to that, and then you're here now. That's pretty dope.
Well, you know what? Coincidences. I don't believe in coincidences.
And me either.
Life,
that's exactly why I held on to that. I was like, oh, that's tight.
Exactly. Life has a way of putting circumstances in your way. I shouldn't say in your way, in your path. Right. In your path. It is up to you to take either, I don't want to say take advantage, but to optimize the opportunity of what's being presented to you. And whether you want to call it God-given, or you want the universe, whatever you want to, there's something that is putting this in your path, and it's up to you to decide what you're going to do with it. And so back to your point, totally. It was no coincidence that this gentleman had a background in medicine. I came from medicine, and that gave me the opportunity to get the job. Even if it was just picking up lumber and picking up trash and sweeping floors, I got my foot in the door, and it got me where I'm at. So
most definitely.
Yeah, right on.
That's dope. And you were talking about working with ALCHEMII, Jordan and Jasmine, a little bit earlier. What exactly are you doing with them? What do you guys have any projects coming up?
What y'all got going on?
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Here's the vibe here with them. So I met them through a friend from the church that recommended them for. It was a filming and kind of a directive on a talk that I gave. So when they came, I did this talk. It wasn't, didn't have a big turnout. It was one, kind of a little church, but the vibe that I got from them, the vibe they got from me, was something that we started to kind of open a dialogue about, and figured, okay, well, hey, you guys are on a path to build and establish and grow ALCHEMII, right? I had no idea who ALCHEMII was, what they were doing. I'm on a path to promote motivation, inspiration, education, cultivation to anybody, but more importantly at this point, to millennials. Okay,
it's a perfect mix.
Yeah, exactly. So they were like it's like almost like a husband and wife. I'm looking for a wife, they're looking for a husband. Boom, we're there.
Let's do it. Let's get married.
Yeah. So it so kind of that's where it worked. It went, and I think that collectively, I see an opportunity. I see something that they can enable me to pursue and grow what it is that I want to do, and in turn, I can offer them something. So that's kind of where it went, man. We started talking about it, and it just started taking off, and here we are. So
here we are.
Yeah, it's kind of infantile, but it's gonna grow, it's gonna rock, and it's gonna be successful. Absolutely. Well,
that is super dope. And I keep saying that, but honestly, every time, and especially with the ALCHEMII team, anybody I come in contact with them always seems to have at the very least the right head on their shoulders, and with you, obviously, it's a little bit more. You're, especially to us in the building, you're kind of like an OG of the community, somebody who's I'll like, I'll be an OG, I guess. If you say so.
55, I'm there.
But yeah, like to us, you're somebody who we could look up to, somebody who we can try to follow in your footsteps and your examples. And with that being the case, what do you use to get your health right? Because that's a segment we have on the show, is Get Your Health Right, where we explain to the viewers something that we as normal, everyday people, we may not be too far ahead of you, we may not be too far behind you, but at the very least, we can always offer something productive to your life, whether it be mental, physical, spiritual, whatever. What do you do to keep your health right, to keep you on that right mindset?
Can I go first right before you do it? Because I got some fire. And I know you got some fire. I got some fire. I brought some fire with me. Look, so check it out. I got my bag right here.
Oh, he got it on deck.
Hold on real quick. Got the bag right
dun, 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 dun.
So look, this is what we got here, y'all. So what I got is... Right, so trying to keep my health right. So right here, what I got in this bag is a whole bunch of different minerals, and let me give you all a quick little breakdown of what this is. So I was watching this, I I was watching The Breakfast Club, right? And I was watching Dr. Sebi. It was his son and his daughter and his grandson, and they were talking about this thing called sea moss and how it was a mineral and it's great for you. And I'm like, sea moss? I ain't never heard of this shit. What is this, right? And then so they had a website, so I go and check out the website. It was kind of pricey to get some. And I'm like, okay, to see how much it costs to be healthy. Like, fuck, whatever. So I go on and I'm just doing my thing, waiting to buy it. And I'm getting a massage, and the people that are giving me the massage, her name is Amari, right? We're friends, and her wife Erica, they put me on. They said they got some sea moss, and I was like, "What? Y'all got some, right?" And so they put me on, and what this is, I'm gonna take him out real quick.
Check this out, guys. Getting a massage.
Right?
I'm
really trying to keep your health right over here, my guy. I see it.
This one is organic Irish moss. This next mineral that I have, this one is in powder form. This is milk thistle, right? And then the last one right here, this is bladderwrack.
So are they like herbs? Are they like plants that are broken down?
So milk thistle, that's a plant. Sea moss is actually literally like moss from the sea,
that's what I figured.
Right?
Okay.
Most definitely. And let me tell you the benefits, because I got them right here. Let me tell you the benefits. Right. So for the bladderwrack, it helps with obesity, arthritis, joint pain, hardening of the arteries, digestive disorders, heartburn, blood cleansing, like bronchitis, like a whole bunch of, like, literally, right? A whole bunch of different stuff. Milk thistle promotes healthy skin, reduces cholesterol, supports weight loss, like a whole bunch of
How long have you been on this routine?
I just got it.
Look how good he looks.
Let me
check that shit out.
Check it out. Check it out
Let me check that
So
out.
for anybody who's trying to get some, if you're out in that Riverside area, the Moreno Valley area, you know what I'm saying? We're going to do
This
some
one
free
look like
promo.
weed.
That's seaweed. That's seaweed. Literally, it's seaweed. It's seaweed. Anyways.
Bladderwrack.
Is it loud?
No, bladderwrack. Don't disrespect it. He
Bladderwrack?
said, oh, my God.
Why it smell like a pet shop?
Oh, no, that is seaweed, bro. It's going to smell like some seaweed.
Smell like the inside of pet
Give me my goddamn minerals back.
Ever watched the pet smart? How it smell like 1,800 different animals?
So look,
protein shakes.
No. You can put it in protein shakes. What I do though is I put it in. Do I have? My
Smells
capsules
like
filled up?
hamster food.
Oh, you got capsules.
Yeah, so I got these capsules, right? I got the capsules, and I literally put them all in a bowl, mix them all up, and I bagged the capsules. I had like 40 of them. I gave them to my daddy, so I got him feeling good. Nice. He told me he's been taking it for 3 days. He said he's been feeling good already. Right?
Really?
So,
Wow.
yeah. So I mean, I'm just trying to help in all ways possible. If y'all looking to be healthy, try it out. If you live in the Moreno Valley, Riverside area, or anywhere, just try to get to a natural food store place. Oh God, I got mine from the
paid endorsement right here. The man.
No, for real. I mean, but like I'm trying to, cause I mean, I'm just if it has to do with health and people trying to be healthy, huh? Girl, I read off all the. No, okay, no. So the sea moss will most definitely after a period of time will give you energy, but it cleanses out your body. It cleanses out all the mucus that's in. To some degree, right. It cleanses out all the mucus that's in your body and stuff like that. Phlegm. It's literally great. Yeah. So when you first start to do it, especially with the sea moss, you're gonna get you may experience like some symptoms. You're gonna get sick. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because all this stuff that's sitting inside your body is literally coming out. And so you're gonna go through a little period of sickness, but after the case, from what I've heard, from Erica and Amari and other people as well, after you do it, you're feeling 10 times better. Wow. And I know that's gonna help you because you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Was that a dig at him? Were you just talking?
No, because he said he just no.
I know you need it.
Yeah.
Look like
no. So check it out.
Come on, man.
So back to the question, right?
Yeah.
About getting your health right.
Go ahead.
So really, really paramount. What you put in your body on a daily basis is what you are, right? So I've been an athlete my whole life. Okay, basically like a high octane machine. I burn high metabolism. My meals are prepped. I clean. I eat super clean. Once in a while, I do splurge and will get my cheat meal. But if in order to get your health right, and your mental health is also a component of this. But overall, okay, dietary, what you put in your body, again, paramount. The fact that you are pursuing, seeking, and looking for things that are going to detoxify, that are going to work on on inflammatory responses of the body.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much. I mean, you'd have to be a dietitian to go out there and know what you're doing. But there are a lot of resources. There's a lot of people out there that are marketing products that enable you to do that. So regardless of what you're doing, as long as you're doing something, that's important. Okay, and so like me, I limit the amount of caffeine that I intake. No sugar, no dairy. I'm not really gluten free, but I'm
Wait, why no dairy? Why no dairy if you don't mind me asking? And then like
I'm intolerant. I'm lactose intolerant.
Okay.
So yeah, so learning that I was lactose intolerant, I didn't know that until I actually you omit stuff, right? You start taking stuff out of your diet and you start seeing how you feel. Well, when I took dairy out of my diet, it was incredible. I mean, the bloating. People are like, dude, it's like, I mean, I never woke up bloated. You didn't have gas, so you're not farting all the time.
I stay farting. I stay farting.
I mean, if you're drinking milk, you're just gonna be farting up a storm.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, so back to that, to eating clean, drinking a lot of water for sure. I'm on a high protein, low carb diet, and it's because of what I do, which is I'm a competitive cyclist.
Is it more meat based or plant based protein?
Plant-based.
Oh, it's more plant based.
Plant-based.
We're talking about like tofu, soybeans.
Absolutely.
We're talking.
Now I'm not vegan, okay, but
right.
I would. My goal is to eventually try and get to that.
To vegan?
I like steak, so
Yeah.
I gotta have my meat, man.
You like cream barbecue,
and bacon,
right?
And the mic just a little bit more so they can hear the.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I said I like steak.
Yeah, there you go.
I like steak.
But anyhow, yeah. So back to that. It's dietary supplementing, which is what you're doing. One of the most important things I think that people can do if you do it right is fasting.
Ooh.
Intermittent fasting, right?
Exactly.
Never
Intermittent
tried.
fasting. Now, I don't have to worry about that because my problem isn't losing weight. My problem is keeping weight on, right? So, but the intermittent fasting, not only for weight loss, but for fleshing out the
Right.
body. It's
Absolutely.
incredible. Juicing. Okay, juicing is incredible. There's like so many different things. Like I said, you'd have to either be a dietitian or have a dietitian on board that is telling you what to do. But back to getting your health right.
Yeah, what's another way that you?
Oh man, okay, another way. Let me get you a good one here.
Yeah.
So
Let's see.
another
what
way,
you
well,
got.
for myself is that again, I've always been a competitive cyclist. Well, not a competitive cyclist. I've always been an athlete. Okay, competitive cyclist for 30 years. One of the things that I do is I'm super active, whether it's swimming, whether it's at the gym, running on the treadmill. They've got some footage of me doing my thing at the gym. I'm always moving. Right, a body that is
in motion.
Will stay in motion. Right, so I don't, even though I sit. This is my chair back here, right? So I sit back there. I'm behind the computer quite a bit during the day. I'm active. I'm up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm gonna give it a little my routine here. Okay, so I'm up at 4:30 in the morning. Literally, the alarm goes off
every morning.
4:30. Crack it on every morning. 4:30. Okay.
Okay.
Within 30 seconds, and I shit you not, you could time it. I invite any one of you to come to my house and time me. Within 30 seconds of the alarm going off, I am in the shower, and it's an ice cold shower.
Wait, you take?
Okay? You may not want to check this out, but you know what I'm saying?
No, I was joking. That was a joke. That was kidding.
No, seriously though. So within a half a minute, I am in an ice cold shower. I don't even know what it's like to take a warm shower. Okay, and I'm not doing that because it's a fad or because I'm YouTubing this and I'm seeing that this guy is saying this or this guru is saying this. I'm saying it because I did my research, and my research has confirmed that the fact that if you take ice cold showers, there is a neurological response. Okay, that happens. That sense when you get in the shower and you feel like you can't breathe. And you're taking that deep breath. You're all, trying to
when
catch
it's
your
ice
breath.
cold. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that in itself is a benefit. That at the molecular level, things are happening in your body. That is your body trying to heat itself. But by taking those deep breaths, you're actually cleansing yourself. that, and then spend I do about, I don't know, about a minute of it, but it wakes you up. I also do what they call a coffee scrub. I don't know if you guys even
Never
know what
heard
that
of
is.
it. No, go
check
ahead.
it out. It's a you can make your own. If you were to take some
Coffee grounds.
coffee grounds, you take some sugar, you take some honey, you put it in the blender, you blend it. It basically makes like a paste. Okay, so what you do is you get up in the morning, turn that shower on, boom, you're fired up, neurons are fired, you're alive, you're awake. You take that coffee scrub, and it's like an emulsifier, right? So it exfoliates. So you put it on your body, put it on. Got to be careful where you put it, because coffee grounds, you kind of get up in there.
You don't want them in your butt.
But careful. The caffeine, the okay. So when you wake up, anybody you like the smell of coffee when you wake up, right? You wake up, you smell
Not
coffee,
really.
you're like, dude, what's wrong with you?
I've just never been.
No, I'm with
but anyhow.
Omar. I'm with Omar.
Hey.
I've never been coffee.
So-
Never been-
Yeah, fresh part, right? Okay, right. But anyhow, so a caffeine coffee scrub, that's also part of my regimen. I do that, it gets me going. I get out. By the time I'm out, it's already been about, I don't know, maybe a couple minutes. Okay, so I'm out. I get dressed. First thing I hit is my Bible. Okay, and I light a candle. I light a candle because the candle to me represents serenity. It represents peace. It represents focus. I see myself as a flame, an energy that is in a 2D or 3D body walking around, right? Or a virtual body walking around. So when I get into meditation, and my meditation isn't the conventional yoga type of thing, man. My meditation is deep, thoughtful prayer. I mean, I'm talking about going deep. Okay, I'm talking about getting into the Word of God to where the Word is something that is alive. Okay, when you can get to that point of prayer, meditation, getting yourself so still that nothing that your senses are picking up, or you're even feeling it. All you are feeling is this energy that you're tapped into. I do that for about 45 minutes, sometimes an hour. Now, you got to work your way up, right? Some people are like, hey, man, it's like meditation. 5 minutes seems like forever. So I'm not going to lie. It took a little bit of time. And I do have prayers. I was raised Roman Catholic. So I do have prayers that I say, everything from, Our Father to the Hail Mary. Yeah. And so I have the prayers that I say to kind of get me into the mood. Then once I get into that, then I'm set. So a lot of times I ask for, not a lot of times, all the time, I ask for wisdom. Okay. I ask for clarity, for guidance, direction. I ask for the ability to be a better version of myself. To not
At
take
55.
55.
At
man.
55.
Yeah,
Still
55.
wanting
I'm
to
still
better
getting
yourself.
better. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every day. Yeah.
It's crazy.
So, and then also I don't take it, I don't beat myself up, right? I know that I've got faults. I know that whether you want to call them sins or whatever you want to call them, that I'm not perfect. But in knowing that, and knowing that I've got the grace of God, that I've got the blessing, it's something that gives me, it's like an impetus or a drive to know that, you know what, hey, I'm forgiven in spite of. And as long as I can go out there and I can share directly, however, myself, and people look at me and say, what is it about you? And I'm not gonna say that I'm a Bible thumper or whatever. I'm not a pastor, but I can tell people when they ask me that, I say, you know what, this is what I do. And you've got the choice. You can take up what I do, you can try it. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but this is what I do. Exactly. So getting your health right, again, it's diet, it's exercise, it's discipline. It's having a daily routine, and that daily routine never changes for me, ever. I mean, it's like it is what it is. I get up, I do that, I go to work. When you guys came in, I don't know if you saw, I had a yoga mat out here. Right. I do my yoga, I do my meditation. I take time out to get myself back in check, So it is super, super important to do that, because all of that is a component and plays a part in you. I don't want to use the word being successful, right? Because that's kind of, what is successful, right? Success to me is just being happy, being able to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it, without anybody telling me what to do, right? So anyhow, that's that's a little bit of kind of
So,
my regimen.
on the topic of getting your health right, we see a lot of things, or we do a lot of things rather that aren't, progressive towards getting your health right. What do you see, especially amongst like your generation, the older generation, in them, things that they can, instead of taking steps forward to do, taking steps backwards to stop doing, that still get your health right?
Okay, that's a good one. I think, I mean, my feeling with regards to that would be that, okay, I'm 55, okay, but a lot of people, so I'm 55 years old, but in my mind, I'm 25 years old. All right, so mindset is big, and I have a lot of friends. I mean, I've got a lot of friends. I went to my 30-year high school reunion, my 40-year, and a lot of the people that I went to school with, in their mind, they feel their age. They're like, oh, I'm too old to do this. So they set all these reservations for themselves, limitations. Exactly. So when a key point, I race in a Masters Elite class. So I'm 55 years old, but I race Pro-Am, Cap Pro 1-3. So I race against 20-year-old pro cyclist, and I'm 55 years old, okay? But I still get it done. I may not be winning a race, but I'm still in the top 10, top 15 out of 100 riders, right? But so a lot of it is mindset. So a lot of my friends and a lot of people that are my age that think that, well, because I'm 50 plus, I can't do this anymore. Well, as long as you've got that mentality, you're dead. You're not going to be able to. Yeah, exactly. So you've got to be able to have a lifestyle and get your health right, get your mind right, get yourself right, that is correlated 100% to not living a life of the actual age that you are, because it's all relative, right? It's, again, a body in motion stays in motion. A body that's active, that stretches, that meditates, that eats, that is taking care of itself is going to be that. Right? So I think that back to the question, that I think a lot of people 50 plus or my age, because I guess I'm going to be 55, man. So I'm going to be like, what do they call that? Senior living. I'm going to be able to live in a fucking senior living community. But so a lot of those people decide, well, okay, you know what? I can play backgammon. I can play golf. Maybe tennis. Tennis is kind of stretching. But again, it's all relative, right? It's you don't need to just because you're 50 plus do that. I mean, you can do whatever you want. You want to ride mountain bikes, you want to yoga, you want to bungee jump, you want to skydive, whatever. You just you fucking do it, right?
Hell yeah.
So anyhow, I guess I don't know if that answers that, but that's kind of it. You got to it's the mindset. I'm 55, but I don't have the mindset of a 55-year-old. I've probably I still do crazier shit and more shit than people in their 20s and 30s, but
that's what you say that, because again, it's about the mindset, and I feel like in our culture, a lot of us, a lot of people, they try to label, I guess, groups of people, generations too, right? Like you said, maybe because you're older, you think you're older, you can't do certain things because you're older, so I feel like one thing that people talk about a lot in the last couple of years, millennials versus baby boomers, because I feel like there's stigmas and stereotypes, right? I mean,
completely.
Right. What do you think? So, for millennials, it's we're lazy, we feel entitled.
Look at us.
Yeah.
We want everything just kind of given to us, and I feel like maybe the stigma for baby boomers is they're very closed-minded. They're the ones who basically set up failure for the millennials kind of thing. They expect too much, or maybe they're closed-minded. I mean, what do you think? Because I feel like you really don't fit into that category.
Yeah.
Like we talked about, you're 55, but doing things that that would I guess not be the norm of a regular 55-year-old.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, check it out. So I'm quote unquote kind of baby boomer. I'm 55, right?
Close.
But you got to have a what's the correct term that I'm looking for? Okay, a progressive way of thinking. Okay, sure. So to me, and I've got millennial kids. My kids are millennials. Okay, I'm not going to say that those labels or those stigmas aren't something that. Okay, I'm going to put this as a millennial father. You can label your kids as such if you decide to follow the norm of what society is labeling people as. Okay, so for me, the my era, my generation can actually learn quite a bit from you guys.
A whole
quite
bunch.
a bit.
Say it again.
Okay?
Wait, say it again for the people
Okay,
in
yeah.
the back.
My generation
again.
can totally learn a shitload. How's that? Shitload.
Dad,
Okay,
Mom.
from the millennials. Okay, I'm gonna tell you
Tell 'em, I'm
something.
taking
So
shots.
okay, so you guys, so check it out. So you guys are born into a recession that you didn't choose. Right, your mom and dad were getting it on, and they got pregnant, and you're born, and you just happen to you just come out, right?
I didn't
So
even want this.
you come into a recession that you didn't select. You come into a technological era that you didn't select. Now that technological era has got its pros and its cons. Okay, so you come into that. You come into, if you were to take socio-economical challenges that are conventional, they don't apply to you guys. They don't, okay? So are you undereducated? Fuck no. You're overeducated. There's way too many of you with degrees coming out of high school, college. You're poverty. No. Most of you don't come from a poverty demographic, okay? The racism is always going to exist. But does it exist to the level that it did for us?
Heck
no, it
no.
doesn't. So the norm of the socioeconomical challenges that people would think are relative to you, you guys, you're an anomaly. You're a fucking anomaly. They don't exist, okay? So us as a generation, we label you based on what we know, which in a way is totally unfair. Okay, but the let's go back to a couple of topics. So that you're entitled, that we feel you're entitled. Well, I don't think you necessarily are entitled. I think that society has labeled you as such. I think that
we just want fairness.
Well, no,
above all else.
You know what you want. That's what it is. It's not entitlement. You know what you want.
You're
not going to
what we
settle.
deserve.
You're not going to. There you go. That's
We're
what
not.
I said.
Yeah,
You know
we're
what
not
you
taking
deserve.
crumbs no more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not a matter of entitlement. It's a matter of knowing what you want and the fact that you're not going to settle for the bullshit, right? So that explains that one. Okay. So what the other one, that you're lazy. Well, that's bullshit. You guys are one of the most driven, creative fucking generations that's ever been. The problem is that you are in an era where those faculties are limited, not by virtue of what you guys believe in yourself, what you're able to do, but by the fact that there should have been like a different era that you guys would have been born into. Then you guys would have been fucking rock stars, every one of you, right? But you weren't, and you didn't have that. You weren't able to select that. So economically, the recession, you came into a shithole, right? It's hard. I mean, my kids, I have a girl that just graduated from San Diego State University with a degree in literature and public relations. My other daughter is studying at Cal State Fullerton, struggling, trying to get through school. They graduate. One graduated, the one's getting ready to graduate. Haven't been able to find any jobs in their dedicated field. The inflation, gas, insurance, everything that is mandated, which when I was growing up, you didn't have to have insurance. It was like, if you wanted insurance, you had it, right? Nowadays, you got to fucking have it. There's no ifs, ands, or whats. You got to fucking have it, right? Health insurance, car insurance. So there's all these mandates that you guys are having to deal with now that we didn't have to deal with. So for us as a generation to say, oh, you guys are this, and that, that's kind of unfair, right? But it's society. It's society that is labeled your generation as such. It is your guys', I think, due diligence to prove us wrong. Right. And I think that you're slowly getting to that. The more that you can... Okay, so part of what my purpose is to... I'd like to be a stepdad to every millennial out there that maybe didn't have a dad, maybe came from a dysfunctional family, somebody that can put you in a direction. I'm not going to say in the right path. You need to find your own path. Put you in a direction that you can follow, begin to work on, and build on. right? So that you can become what you're capable of becoming. I'm not saying that, I've got all the answers. What I'm saying is that there is a level of experience, of life experience that I've got that I can share with you guys. But you guys, you have the other part of the equation, right? I don't have the techno.
Tech savvy.
Yeah, exactly. Ability that you guys have. You guys are. It's
you don't know how to use an iPhone.
Yeah.
I get you.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but okay. Ouch!
I'm kidding.
Motherfucker, give me an iPhone. No, but you know
I'll show you the screenshot right now. Prove it.
That you guys. I mean, there is so much that you guys have that. Eventually, and I don't know when it's going to happen, but eventually, it's gonna come to light. You guys just need to keep doing what you're doing.
I think it definitely goes both ways because
Stick-to-itiveness,
like
grit.
you walking 5 miles
Yeah.
in the ass. A lot to learn, because a lot of us, I feel like we come from generations sometimes that is prescribed as a little soft, a little sensitive, like we, get offended very easily, and I feel like is our kind of like our cultural perspective, and to some degree that's true. We don't necessarily understand what it means to really have true grit, to be able to really tough it out.
That
kind of thing.
That's true. I think one of the reasons is because like everything that we see, like as far as people
Instant.
getting something, it's so quick. It's boom. And exactly. And I think, as we know, how long did it take you to build what you built?
18 years.
18 years.
18 years. Yeah, 18
Like,
years.
I think that's where one of the disconnects is as far as us. But I honestly don't think that we're sensitive. I think that hold on, not too sensitive. Not too okay. Not too
who is we?
Hold on, not
like
too
us
sensitive.
in this room are
Listen,
fine, but
no, true. I think that for a lot of the different sensitive topics, these are the first times that they've ever been brought to light. You know what I'm saying? And that people. So I think what it is America as a nation, like we're coming in touch with our emotions, and it's something that we have to most definitely deal with. And people can over exaggerate a little bit, but we rock how we rock, and we get to it. I think that it's good that the conversation at least is in play. I wouldn't say sensitive, though.
I got a question.
What is it?
Oh shit.
So this one's fucked up too.
We like them fucked up.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it a bug with you. This one's a little fucked up.
Good.
But your generation, like you guys, how do I put this as
Give it to
harshly
'em.
as possible?
Yep.
You ruined the earth. Like it's barely inhabitable anymore. You know what I mean? Do you think?
I don't think was it them.
No,
I don't know if it was just us, but
Yeah,
go
actually,
ahead.
you had some lead ups,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, you guys really took the torch and ran with it. You were like, emissions? I don't care. Give me a Hummer. Do you think this generation has the mental grit, like Jay was saying, or the ability to deal with the problems? Because like you said, the recession was one problem that we did not choose. Technology, a problem we did not choose. Global warming now is a problem that we did not choose, but we are in this situation. Do you think we have the mental and like physical grit anymore to really withstand this, what looks like it could be possibly the end of humanity? Because realistically, this generation is softer. You could say a lot about it, but we are a lot softer. We're hit by hard edges a lot more than you guys are, right? You think we could do it? Because I get scared, man. I'd be scared at night. Like,
I'm gonna be
melting.
I'm gonna be real candid.
We ain't got no bees.
No, I don't think you can do it. No, but I'm gonna wait a minute. Let me elaborate
We fuck
on
guys.
that.
We into the podcast.
No, The reason I don't think you can do it is because it's going to take more than just you guys.
It'll take
It's going to
everybody.
take everybody.
It's going to take
It's
everyone.
going to take everybody. Okay, the responsibility is on everybody right now. So, okay, like anything else in life, you can blame anybody, right? There's somebody to blame. There's no shortage of fucking blaming somebody, right? So, whatever it is that's to blame, whether it's a generation, whether it's a political movement, whether it's whatever, okay, we are where we are. Collectively, as a human race, not as a fucking generation, millennials, boomers, whatever, as a human race, collectively, we need to do something about this. I mean, it's not rocket science, okay? Just yesterday, I was reading an article regarding the title of the article was Anchorage, Alaska summer. If their summer doesn't scare you, we don't know what will. Okay, so Anchorage, for the first time, Alaska, the temperature was higher than Tampa, Florida. Okay, and this is Alaska. So you got, I mean, people can deny it, but it's there. Okay, glaciers are melting. They
Global
had
warming.
an
Hot girl summer.
unprecedented amount. An unprecedented amount of
Hot
salmon
girl summer.
in Anchorage that have died off. Okay, because of the warmth. The temperature change. So is it something? Yeah, it's real. It's there. Back to your question. No, it's not something that your generation could handle on its own. I don't know if it's too late. I mean, I don't know, but whatever it is that's happening, everything happens, right? Everything happens. Everything's got a yin and a yang. Everything's got a beginning and an end. Whether this is the end of the beginning, I don't know. But
the way I like to look at it often, especially in regards to what you just said, that we're not going to make it, is if you think about it, well, not if you think about it, if you study it, Neanderthals survived the Ice Age. So the Earth was just frozen, and Neanderthals, the people who are dumber than us in the evolutionary scale, they made it. They did caves and fires and whatever have you. So I think we got it.
I think they made it because they left this motherfucker alone. Now, we so goddamn smart. We done did all this shit, and we're like fucking up the earth that was given to us. The Neanderthals just adapted. We're fucking everything up.
Yeah, we could adapt with science.
Yeah, but you know what? Check it out. No, we have, okay, so you're talking about the Neanderthal. Okay, we have a primordial part of our brain that is still primordial, that is still that. Okay, our
primordial for all of you.
Yeah, please, somebody else.
Okay. So
he's just gonna say it again.
Yeah. Okay.
No definition.
So seriously, check it out. So the evolution of our frontal lobe, right? Okay, check. This is great. I love this kind of shit. Okay?
Oh hell yeah.
So our evolution of the frontal lobe, okay, is what it is now, right? It's grown. It's evolved. Okay, it wasn't what it was back then, but we still have an innate primordial brain that has the drive to what? Fucking survive by whatever fucking means. Okay, we don't know what it's going to take, but we've got to survive. So whether the forecast, the future looks grim, like you just said, it's too late. It ain't fucking too late, because I'm going to tell you something. In life, if you want to fucking breathe, you're going to breathe. You're going to find a way to breathe. Okay, and when you decide that I'm not going to do it, well, then you're done. Okay. Anybody that's ever you ever been close to drowning? Anybody here?
Me, yeah.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
All right. You know that instinct that come, well, hell or high water. That sounds kind of like a pun, but that you get, right. That you're going to do whatever. You've got to get that breath. Okay.
I was crying.
That I believe, honestly. You what?
I was young, and I had on a floaty. I dove in, it came off. So I was crying. I was crying. I was scared. I was.
Woo! Yeah. No, I feel you. That. But anyhow, so again, back to that there is an innate part of our being
Of us.
to survive. No.
Okay. I mean, again, I'm not saying that I'm against that, or that I disagree with you. No, I do believe in that there is always, like, if there's a will, there's a way. For sure, but I also do believe that if there's circumstances that are out of your hands, I mean they're out of your hands kind of thing. You know what I mean? I mean, if sea levels rise too much, or if it gets too hot to be outside anymore, there's only so much a person can do. So that's what I mean in terms of like
humanity is always within our grasp. Like,
but what I'm trying to say is like, but
I
if
understand.
there's
If there are
circumstances,
other-
like factors like come into play where we can't control. Like if it gets too hot to live, like if we can't be outside because it'll burn our skin, like
We'll go underground.
Well, I mean,
but like
I'm melanated.
We have options. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying
I mean, I feel like we
I'm just
can't.
saying we got options.
I feel like we can't say until that time comes. I guess I don't know.
So
You know
check
what I mean?
this out. So, okay, so I'm a Christian, right? I've already said that.
Same. Dad's a pastor.
But okay, so Darwinism, okay, evolution. Do you guys know that I like to hike? I love to hike. Okay, over the last, I want to say, and don't quote me on this, but I want to say it's probably been the last 15, 20 years. The rattlesnake. Okay, the rattlesnake has evolved to a point that there are now rattlesnakes that are being born without any rattles. They have the rattles, they just don't have the beat. So they have found them where you can be on a fucking hike and get bit by a rattlesnake that rattled, but there's no fucking sound. So a rattlesnake, through evolution, knowing that with a rattler, it's going to signal, don't tread on me.
Danger,
right?
yeah.
They're still getting killed. Even though they rattle, we as mankind will still kill them. Even though they're rattling and saying, hey, I'm not messing with you, don't mess with me, we still kill them. They, through evolution, got smart and said, okay, well, and this is proven. I mean, look at any biological report. They evolved to the point that through evolution, if we rattle, they're still killing us. So guess what? We're going to rattle, but we're not going to make any noise. And that's proven. I mean, it's in biology, go do the research, Google it, do whatever, you'll see it. Mm-hmm. So my point being that a species, and we are just that, we're a fucking species. A species will evolve. A species will find a way, a means, and I'm not saying that it's going to be for full survival, but whether it's partial. So back to your point, that if it gets too hot, yeah, we'll fucking go subterranean. If we don't go subterranean, we'll fucking go to another planet. But we'll figure out a way to do it.
I feel like, I feel like there will be a way, but I think with great cost.
Oh, yeah,
if that makes sense.
No.
You know what I'm trying to say? So there will only be such a small community of people.
But somebody will survive.
Somebody will survive. Yeah. But now that's the question. Now is like, who is the somebody?
Me.
Is it the elite? Right, me, right?
The ones who get your health right.
Right. Because I'm sure we all watched 2012, right? But 2012, that like traumatized me, man. All the important people got like that message saying like it's time. Come to the ark, like definitely not talking about Noah's Ark, right?
No.
But like.
No, that's true. That's
anyhow,
true.
right
hey
on.
man,
Yeah.
Joe. So look, I seen a little snippet that Jay had showed me, and he was talking a little bit about your background and what you've come up and just how you've been living or what you've been through. And you were talking about how you've been through some traumatic experiences. So I wanted to know, like, whatever you wanted to share, what have you been through? How have you got past it and still been able to, be the person that you are today?
Okay. Well, let's see. There's that's a good one. There's actually been more than a handful of traumatic experiences. As I was alluding to earlier, I've had a very dysfunctional upbringing, a dysfunctional life, abuses, which
Bingo.
Physical, emotional, sexual.
You've
You
been
name
through
it.
it.
You
Yeah.
name it. I've somehow have experienced it, lived through it. But as far as a traumatic experience, I think that the attempted suicide, the first attempted suicide, there were 3 of them, but the first attempted suicide, which was a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
And actually, before you get onto that, I would like to do a very quick shout out because I believe it's September 18th or the 19th is National Suicide Awareness Day. Somebody very close with the ALCHEMII group, Ricky, if you watching, was popping, my guy. He posted it. I just, because you got onto the subject, I just really wanted to put awareness out because that's something that a lot of people glance over is if there's somebody in your life and they're just not acting right, or even if they are acting right, always check in on people. You don't know how close somebody is to not being here anymore, especially being somebody who's been in that circumstance before. It's not a very identifiable thing, but it's something that's extremely preventable if given the right questions. So please check it out. I believe there's a whole website dedicated. Look up National Suicide Prevention Day. I believe it's September 18th or the 19th.
Right on.
10th. Sorry about that. It's on the 10th.
On the 10th.
Confirmed.
Oh, so it just passed.
Check it out. Yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
No, but yeah, go ahead.
So anyhow, back to that. So traumatic experiences. That was probably one of many that they had a big effect on my life, on who I am, what I am, and what a legacy that I want to leave behind. It's, I don't know, man. It's until you've been there, it's hard to. It's hard to even express. Okay, so at the moment, and I'll touch on this briefly. At the moment of making the decision that you want to make an attempt, because it's never guaranteed, but to make an attempt that you want to take your life, you're basically playing God. Okay.
Yeah.
And at that point in my life, being so depressed, clinically depressed. To your point, had I had anybody, that whether it was a family member or friend, that expressed concern, that expressed a sense of, hey, I'm worried about you, right? Yeah, I'm worried. Yeah, a little bit of love. That's it, a little bit of love. Somebody, anybody, and it could even be a stranger, as long as it was somebody that expressed a concern for your well-being. Okay, it makes all the difference in the world. That can keep you from whatever, pulling the trigger, hanging yourself, overdosing, whatever modality you want to use. Okay, but back to that, I think at the moment of electing to do that, I was hell bent on it. I was pretty depressed, and I was like, I want to do it. But if I really wanted to do it, I think I would have done it. I think I mentioned to you guys that my mom was a housekeeper, right? Mm-hmm. She cleaned. So when I took the gun, it was a Remington rifle. I put a hollow point bullet in it, and I put the gun. Actually, I put the gun to my chin, and I was thinking it was a rifle. So it wasn't a pistol. So I had the barrel here. I had my hand down here, and I was going to pull the trigger.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
All I could think of was, oh shit, okay, this is gonna be pretty messy. And all I could visualize was my mom the housekeeper, cleaning my fucking brains up, right? So I was like, oh, I can't do that to my mom. So I took the gun and I improvised. So it was a Remington rifle. I took it, put it to my stomach. I leaned over, and I think I said a prayer. I always believed in Christ, and I just figured, hey, I've heard that if you commit suicide, you go to hell, right? So I just said, hey, forgive me for what I'm getting ready to do, but I got no other out. And so I leaned over and I pulled the trigger, and upon pulling it, it was surreal because
Did you black or?
Well, here's what happened. I pulled the trigger. The first of your senses, the first thing that I picked up on was the sound, right? The gun going off, left a ringing in my ears. Uh-huh. Second was the smell of burnt flesh.
Damn.
Third was the feeling of warmth, but it was blood just coming out, right? So anyhow, I shot myself when I realized, oh fuck, I really did this. I had the gift or the blessing of realizing that most people that commit suicide don't ever get that chance, right? They pull the trigger, no fucking coming back. They don't even know what happened. They're dead, right? So I pulled it, realized, oh shit, I really did it. I felt, okay, you ever watch those fucking Westerns where people get shot and they're like, right? That's bullshit. That's bullshit. This shit hurts, okay? It hurts. I mean, painful. So I pulled the trigger, went through, shot, and then I felt warmth like on my back. And I thought, what the fuck? So I took my hand
It
and put
went
it back
through?
here, and I go, oh shit! Literally went. So now at that point, I'm panicking. So at that point, I take this hand, I apply pressure here, and I look back on the chair. I was sitting in one of my mom's vintage chairs, and the bullet had gone through me, through the chair, through the wall, and out. I mean, literally went through the drywall, through the framing, through the stucco, and out.
Damn.
Out somewhere, right? So now I'm regretting it. Now I'm like freaking out and going, what do I do, right? Right. So what do? I crawled to the phone and I dialed 911. I didn't even get a word out because I passed out.
Oh,
But
shit.
thank God that when you dial 911, they know where the call's coming from. Yeah. So all I remember was waking up in the garage with paramedics and whatever around me trying to keep me alive. I don't remember much. I woke up in the ICU afterwards, but I ended up having an exploratory laparotomy, like 18 inches of my intestine. They were cut out. I had an infection, so I was in the ICU for about a week, and I missed my spine by an eighth of an inch. Yeah, so I should have been, I should have been, oh yeah, exactly, yeah. The trauma surgeon said, you an eighth of an inch, and you would have been in a chair for the rest of my life. But so back to traumatic experiences. That's just one. I've had a couple of suicide attempts, but that was probably the most grandiose.
How important was that for you to experience and overcome?
Experiencing is one thing. Overcoming it
Yeah.
is the big thing. So when it took some time. It took years of therapy. Took time.
So you actually went to therapy for that?
Yeah, absolutly. Yeah,
okay, so that's
therapy.
something
I had
that
to
you
realize,
suggest.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
How do
There's
you
no
feel
way.
about therapy?
You know what? Therapy is what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. Okay, so if you're a compliant so-called
it'll
patient,
really help you out.
it'll help you out.
Don't
If you're
play egotistical,
Yeah.
like I know better
Yeah,
than you.
exactly.
You can't get it out of me, kind of thing. Like
'Cause
really
it won't
try to
help you.
dig deep. Kind of thing.
You've been to therapy
You've got to be
before?
really reflective. I mean, you got to
No,
look
I
at
have friends
yourself.
who do, and like I hate the stigma. We someone sits there in therapy. Oh, they're crazy. They got issues. Or
I don't think that stigma exists anymore.
No, I think it still
we're in
does. I still think it does. And like
that's
but
I could be wrong.
but that's why I think we're going through a very transitionary period where it's like. No, it's like, oh, you do therapy? Oh, so do I actually. Like, it's becoming that kind of conversation now. Because it used to be.
I know do therapy.
Yeah,
Honestly,
and it's
all of the smarter people.
and surprisingly enough, a lot of people I know who do therapy are the ones who I find or who I deem as like emotionally like stable and like
Absolutely.
doing really well. The people who,
the least.
yeah, like for example, I know some pastors, I know some leaders, and like church leaders like who do therapy, and it's like, but not in a like I'm going really through it, like I need help, but it's like very much like there's still parts of me that I got to work on, and it's such a, it's such a very like I guess like free and tangible and definitely a beneficiary way to like deal with those things.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's not until one looks at themselves, and you can look at yourself and reflect only so much. Right. It takes sometimes an unbiased outside person to ask profound questions, to ask stuff that really makes you think. When somebody does that, then you're able to sit back and go, wow, okay, I've never thought about that. And you're able to exchange a dialogue with somebody that has some clinical experience, that understands a little bit of psychology, well, a lot of psychology, depending on what their criteria is. But back to that, yeah, it's a matter of what you put into it versus what you get out of it. So you could fake your way through it, or you can actually become engaged and involved in your own healing.
Now, I'm assuming with some of that therapy, some of what you guys probably covered on was, how to manifest your dreams and how to manifest what it is that you want to do. In other words, going from where I am to where you are, going from somewhere where you want to be, you know what you want to be, you have a dream in mind, a goal in mind, but you're not yet to where you are, to where you've, even if you haven't fully achieved it, you've gotten a lot of the way through it, What do you think helps you best get through that phase while you're trying to manifest?
Okay, I would think in a nutshell, it's to not deny that anything's ever happened to you, right? Your past is your past, but your past makes you who you are. So if you're able to look at those components or those parts of your life, not dwell on them, You don't want to dwell on them. They fucking happen, right? But you take it for what it was, and you don't stay there, because as long as you're looking back, you ain't going forward, right? So you've got to, at some point, you got to be able to look back. You got to be able to look back and appreciate whatever it is that's happened, good, bad, or indifferent. But then you've got to be able to do nothing but look forward, charge forward, move forward, all right? And once you're able to do that, once you're able to free yourself from your past is your past, free yourself from it, look forward, look at what you're capable of doing. Look into, like I said, I took the amount of energy that it takes somebody, and I'm not proud of it, but the amount of energy, mindset that it takes somebody to want to play God for a split second, right? Figured if I can go to that edge and be there, then why can't I reverse it and take that edge, which could be something positive? And is as much as I didn't want to run to that edge, but I got there, well, then turn it around and go back the opposite. So pick a positive plateau, run to that edge, right? Take that energy, reverse it, and get to it. And I think that's what I did. I just figured if I don't want to say dumb enough, because it wasn't a matter of intelligence, but if I was in any way driven enough to get to that point, then why am I not driven enough to pursue my goals, pursue my dreams, and get the best out of life that I can? And that's what I've done. And I live my life 150 fucking miles an hour, right? Everything I do it all out. I don't quit. I just do it, because nothing's guaranteed. It wasn't guaranteed then. It isn't guaranteed now. I could die tomorrow driving to work. I could die next week flying the plane. But if I live in fear of what's going to happen to me, I'm not living. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if I answered your question, but that's kind of So.
And I think off of that note, we're going to wrap it up. This has been an amazing podcast. Learned so much.
I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you for coming through.
Appreciate being here. Yeah, you guys are great. So appreciate, we'll be doing this again, I hope.
Yeah, why not?
Talking about some other stuff, man. We'll talk about whatever topics.
Hopefully we can get you down to Riverside so we don't have to melt out
I'm
here.
I'm down.
Goddamn Palm Springs.
Office is nice, very cool.
An office, but we'd like to take it to a garage.
Yeah, we'll take it. Yeah, structural.
Structural
Yeah,
system.
luxury home right here. Boom.
If
You
you're
get a hotel.
If you're a millionaire and you're looking for a house,
boom.
right here. And if you're a millionaire looking to give away a house, right here. Right here. But like I said, I think that'll wrap it up for us here at the Garage Podcast. A shout out to ALCHEMII Studios for producing this. Shout out to everybody behind the scenes giving us great help. We love all you guys. Yeah, give it up for them too.
Yeah.
Give it up for them too.
Behind the scenes.
And before we get out of here, hey, Dumbo, go in the fridge. Hand me one of them beers.
Oh, I was like, I thought you wanted me to do the little accent. I was like, no, bro, I'm not doing the accent. I'm not doing the accent, dog.
All right.
Wow, why is this drink so pivotal to this podcast, Sam?
Why?
Boom.
Tell us.
Tell us.
It's
Wait,
Sierra
that
Nevada.
can't be Sierra Nevada.
It's
Pale Ale.
Sierra
I'm flexing.
Nevada Pale Ale IPA.
I'm like,
The one and only.
My God.
And remember, drink responsibly.
We're going to drink one between four of us.
I was like, okay, where you going?
No, that's all I had. That's all I had. I just want to sound like a beer commercial. But from everybody here at the Garage Podcast and from everybody at Structural Systems Inc., we wish you guys a great day. Don't make a life. Don't take a life. We out.
Amen.
Go.
Right on.